Good morning, everyone. Well, in these last few days, as we head towards Good Friday and then later on Easter Sunday, I hope that in your contemplation and your consideration of what Christ was going through during that time, I hope that you have had adequate time to contemplate these things and to give thanksgiving for his incredible gift. If you haven't already had the opportunity to go to see the Walk of the Cross display at the Kitchener site, please, I encourage you to make sure that you do so today or tomorrow. On Friday, we will gather together at both sites, 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, for our services to remember Christ's incredible gift and his sacrifice of his life for us by dying on the cross. And then on Sunday, we will gather together again at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock at both sites to celebrate his resurrection, defeating death and sin. And I look forward to being able to rejoice together with you during these services. Today I'd like to focus on a few short verses of scripture from 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7. This passage of scripture is really important to me for a variety of different reasons, but let's read the passage first and then we'll talk about it. 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7. So humble yourself under the mighty power of God, and at the right time he will lift you up in honor. Give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares for you. Now, when I was younger, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7 was a very important verse to me, because with a name like Gareth, especially in a agrarian culture and community where you were named all sorts of different names, but the name Gareth just was not a common one at all. In fact, people always wanted to shorten it to Gary or perhaps call me Garth, things like this. And it was a big challenge because, and especially in the church, because people would say, well, that's not a biblical name. And I would say, well, actually it is. And I would show them to my King James Bible where it says this: casting all your cares upon him, for he careth for you. But then I'd taken the C, and I'd made a little line above the C, so it said, casting all your cares upon him, for he careth for you. And so there I would say that my name is actually a biblical name. They just put a C instead of a G. Anyway, needless to say, anybody who had any biblical knowledge, especially with the King James Bible, would never forget my name after that. And so this verse has that particular meaning for us. But to me, it has a much more profound meaning in these days that we're living through. Humble yourself, being humble in who we are and what God is doing in us, and allowing God to be the one that elevates us, that we don't struggle to advance ourselves, but rather we humble ourselves, we live humbly, and let God be the one who declares us to be worthy. And secondly, in verse 7, giving all your worries and cares to God, for he cares for us. We are in a stage where there's a lot of concern and anxiety. I know that some of our people are going through significant anxiety and depression during these times. And we desire to let God be the one that will encourage us and to lift us up. And so would you be in prayer for people who are struggling? And would you be in prayer that God would be there to lift them up and to build them up and to place them on a firm foundation once again, because he cares for them. God cares for you too. God bless you, church. Praying for you today.